Hi everyone and welcome to Stamp with Angela. I'm Angela Palmer and thank you for joining me today on my Facebook Live, whether you're joining me in person, not in person, so on live now, or whether you're watching the recording a little bit later on. Thank you for taking the time to join with me today and I hope you enjoy what I'm going to share with you. I'm going to make a card with you featuring the Oceanfront Stamp Set and also the On the Horizon stamp set as well. I'll show you a couple of creations with that. And then I'm going to show you how to label your ink pad if you haven't seen that or you're not quite sure how to do that too. So the Oceanfront Stamp Set is in the mini catalogue and it is carrying on into the annual catalogue. The On the Horizon, which I use a couple of stamps from, and there's dies that go with it, something in the mini catalogue that will be finishing soon. So this mini catalogue is only around for just a little bit longer. It finishes the end of June. So that's next week or while stocks last and things. So make sure that you've got your favourites from that before some of those things go for good. But quite a few are carrying on into the annual catalogue, as you may have seen from the annual catalogue. So that's cool as well. All right, so I am going to turn my camera around and I'm going to start crafting with you. All right, let's straight. All right. So this is the Oceanfront stamp set. So there's no sentiments or anything with it. It is just stamps. And it doesn't, you kind of think, what in the world do you do with those? But you create wonderful scenes like this. And so this is what we're going to make today. And it's basically just lots of stamping. Card, stamp, and ink. And you'll notice this one here isn't part of this particular stamp set and neither is the sentiment. So I have paired it with the On the Horizon one as well. So that's where I've got the Thinking of You from and that's where I've got the birds from. There are a couple of other sets with birds as well. So you might have those that you could use, but it just kind of adds to the scene. So this particular set, I'll just show you in the catalogue. So first of all, on page 39 is the Oceanfront one, which we're using. And you can see you can use it here with other color combinations as well. And then this one here is a little bit similar to what I'm doing today. You've got the birds. It's a combination of both the Oceanfront and also the New Horizon Suite or the On the Horizon stamp set. And so that's the stamp set which I've just shown you. And there's also these dies. So you may see these gates. They're very popular and used in lots of different ways. So they complement it quite nicely in these two. And these papers, but these ones are going, so if you do like them, make sure you purchase them before they're gone for good. So the colours I've used to make today's card include Balmy Blue. So that's what I've done for the sky. Then I've used Pool Party for the water. For the sand, I've used Crumb Cake. And then my other colour, is Mossy Meadow, which I've used for my sentiment and grasses and things. And then some black. I've just used the Memento black for my birds. Okay. All right. So it is fairly simple to make, but sometimes you just, with these things, you don't quite know where to get started. So I thought I'd just show you this simple but effective card. Great one for thinking of you, or you may find some other uses and things. And I'll share a couple of other creations at the end with it as well. So to make the card, I've used the note cards again. So they come in a pack of note cards. They're pre-scored and with the envelope, which are great. This is what I use for my copying cards. And so for those at copying cards, would have made something like this. My basic white piece is 8 centimeters by 11.9. And then the Mossy Meadow behind it is just a little bit bigger, 8.5 centimeters by about 12.3 centimeters. And that just frames it. So I'll leave that there if you need to jot it down. So these are photopolymer stamps. So they're like this. So I found it didn't quite fit on the D block. It's just a little bit too long. So I've got this I one. So it's a bigger block. And they're not kind of spongy with the rubber like the Klinger one. So this has got a bit of padding and things with it. So I'm going to use my stamping Pearson mat to help with my stamping. And that means it's a bit more spongy, so that will help with the stamping. What else? So I'll move that so you can just see it if you need to. All right, so we're going to start with the balmy blue for the sky, and basically I'm just going to work my way down, but I'll add the birds at the end. Now with these kind of stamps, because they are a very solid kind of stamp, that's not the one I need, you don't want your ink pads too inky or bubbly, because it's not going to stamp so well. So let's do this one first. And I also want to sort of hold it down for a couple of seconds, because it's a very solid kind of stamp to give the ink enough time to kind of, you know, absorb into the paper, as it were. So push it down. I don't want to just do the sides, I kind of push the center as well. And with the matte, it's nice and spongy. Now I did find that happened once before as well. So what I actually did was I got a blending pen and I just kind of blended the blue in, so I didn't notice that. There we go, that kind of hid that. So obviously didn't quite push hard enough on that little spot. But with the birds and things, you won't notice it. Now you'll see this is a lot inkier than that. I have re-inked this more recently, so it is a darker colour. So if you're wondering why it's slightly different, that's probably the reason. Now my pool party pad is, no actually it's the crumb cake one that's very inky. So we're going to move down now and do this one. So this isn't too bad, it's not bubbling, so it's not too inky, which is good. So I'm going to just right underneath or just overlap slightly, press it down, and it does help having something spongy like this with a very solid stamp. And it is kind of that sort of washed look. All right, now the brown. So I'm going to show you this top side first. And I don't know if you can tell in the picture, but that is quite, in the video, that is quite bubbly, which means when I stamp it, it is not going to be so good. So what I have done is I got some paper towels and just kind of picked up some of the ink from the ink pad, so it's not so inky. So I've done it on the bottom half, and so hopefully now it's not so bubbly. And again, it's probably going to be a little bit darker than the one on there, but that's okay. I might have overlapped a little bit too much there, but that's all right. There we go. And then we've got these little dots. So there is a stamp for that as well. So just kind of dot that out. You could do a same color, different color. I'm just sticking with the crumb cake. All right, I'm actually going to put my sentiment on next, and then I can kind of judge where I want to put my grasses. So I'm using the Mossy Meadow. And so you could do a Thinking of You, which is from, like I said, the On the Horizon one. So just stamp that down there, hopefully nice and straight. And if I did mess it up, then I could get a little strip, stamp it over that, kind of stick it over the top with dimensionals. But I'm trying to keep to one layer here. Oh, we still need that ink pad again, whoops. Now for the two grasses and things. It is quite dark. So I'm actually just going to try stamping it off. No, maybe I do want it full strength for this one. And the little one. A bit lower. Kind of like so. There we go. So next I just need to put in my birds. So it, like you can see, it's fairly quick and easy, and it's all the stamps do the work for you. And you can vary it up a little bit too with other stamps. Okay, so I do want to make sure my birds are flying up the right way and not upside down. So about there. I don't want to push too hard because I don't want the line of the edge of the stamp either. Okay, so that's basically the card front and the stamping, but you could vary it. So there are other things. We've got some of these grasses here. There's a couple of different rocks that you could include. So yeah, it's up to you how you want to do it. So all I've then done is adhered this onto here, and then adhered it onto my note card. So it's just a nice little card that you can send to someone to let them know that you are thinking of them. So I tend to like to use glue, but some of you may prefer to use tape, and that's fine. All right, so we'll get our note card and our bone folder. Give a nice, just when I creases just to make sure they are lined up, and then crease, nice, and then put it on. You could add a little bit of twine or something, or some little pebble shaped, what do you call them, embellishments or something, or just keep it simple with stamping like that. There you go. Quick and easy. All right, so I'm going to show you a few other ways you can use this particular set. Right, my card samples, which I've just put everything on top of. So here is kind of the same thing, but stepped up. So you'll see we've got the same blue sky background, water, flowers, sand, but this has got some gates on it, and it's also got these little pebble embellishments. And it's been layered up, so lots. This is what we did for Extravaganza back in March, I think it was. So you can see there's lots of layers, got some vellum there, a bit of texture with an embossing folder. But the actual stamping part is very similar, just a little bit more added to it, and that's just cut out with the dies. Here's another one, not so much the Oceanfront stamp set, but it's got the gates in as well, and this uses the New Horizon papers, which are part of the set and things, which is quite nice. And a card I did at my class a couple of months ago is this one here. So again, a little bit more using the On the Horizon stamp set and the dies. But again, both of them work well to create scenes and things. Now this card is a little bit different. It's got a flap that opens like this, and it's got a little stand, so it kind of stands up in the messages like that. So just for something different. Now that was case from somebody, and I should have thought to figure out who it was before I came online, but I can't remember. But it is on my blog, so you can always check that out, and I've got reference there of who originally created it, and then I've done it in a little bit similar. So there's a few different ones, but like I say, you can keep it nice and simple. I've just used that stamp set, added some birds, and then you can find a sentiment that you've got and make something similar. So that's the end of the card making part, and now we're going to show you the ink pads. All right. So here we have a pool party ink pad. So when you get your ink pads, I'm not sure if you realise, but on the back are the stickers. And we have it in English and a couple other languages as well. So you need to put the labels on yourself. So you'll see on this balmy blue one, I've put my title there. So when they're stacked on top of each other or in little shelves, at the end you can see what it is. And then also inside we've got this colour here. Because sometimes when you have a few ink pads open, you can kind of tell here green and blue, but if you had a couple of similar colours next to each other, if that wasn't at the bottom, it might be hard to see exactly what colour it is. You can see a bit of colour on the lid, but at a quick glance you can kind of see what colour you're using. So it's fairly simple to do. You just need to, there's a little lift up bit there, so just get underneath it. So at the moment I'm just lifting off that top layer, and I don't know if I picked a light colour, didn't I? So this one here is the English words, and it says pool party, and it will be a lot clearer once I put it on the front. So line it up and put it on the front. Try and keep it nice and straight. Whoops, not doing well when it's on video, am I? We'll get there. Alright, so now I can see when it's all stacked up it's pool party, and then I'm going to put the one on the inside. So lift them up again. So some of them have got writing, and then there's a blank one down the bottom as well. So open it up. Now I might use my take your pick tool to just kind of help put it on so I don't get my hands too inky. Here we go. I'll just push it down, maybe the end in there. So now I can see when it's open. I'm not very happy with that. It's not quite lined up in the middle. That's all right. We can move it if we need to. Let's start a little bit closer this side. Here we go. Okay, now it's fitted put in that little tray. There you go. Now my other suggestion would be, once you've finished, is remove the rest, because if they're not in a, what do you call it, shelves and things, and you do happen to stack them on top of each other, which you can, that's what the little holes are for. If you've got these stickers on, they don't slide together quite so easily because of, you know, a bit of height there. So when you're finished, just pull that whole sticker off. You don't need it anymore. And of course it's not going to come in one go, so just tidy it up and get it all off. And so it looks like, so you've got the whole thing off like that, and then they will stack much better and they're not rattling around. So I can just pull the rest of this one off and then we're done. So when you get your ink pads, put your labels on, put them on the front, put them on the inside, and that'll make it much easier when you are looking and using your different colours. So I hope you enjoyed today's card with the Oceanfront Stamp Set and a little tip for your labels on your ink pad. So thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I enjoy, making the simple cards, making the slightly more challenging ones too, and I enjoy being able to come live on a Thursday and share this with you. So if you've got any questions, if there's any particular cards that you would like to make, if I've got the stamps and things, let me know. I'm always looking for new ideas or maybe some tips and things that I can share with you. So thanks for being here today, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. And if you've got any questions, then please don't hesitate to get in contact with me. If you'd like to order or you like a catalogue, please let me know too. All right, thanks so much.